Hi, my name is Lana Geitch, and I'm here with the Global Network of Healers. Today we have someone very special. Her name is Amy Keast. She's an intuitive soul healer, and she calls herself a solopreneur, which I thought was very clever, and I had to share with the rest of you. She's from Harlan, Iowa, in the USA, and she helps people get to the bottom of their sickness so that they can heal and enjoy their life again. She's also a fellow author, and she has written the book, Is This Sickness or an Energy Block? There we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Wonderful. So I would love to start us off with just getting to know exactly what is an intuitive energy healer.
Oh, well, thank you, Lana. I'd be so happy to tell you. Being an energy healer is about using my intuition to identify what actually is causing a person to be sick. So my intuition guides me into a person's energetic fields, into their soul, to speak to me. And it tells me that they have trauma or that they have something that needs to be released. And, just that's really the cause of sickness and disease. It's something that's stuck in your body. And it's stuck there way before it actually shows up in your physical body.
Mm-hmm. That is so interesting you say that, because, there's so many documentaries on Netflix now, Heal, and there's the one with, I can't remember. There's a couple more I remember watching, and they talk about this additional layer where the healing is, there's the mind, the cognitive healing, there's the body, the physical healing, there is the emotional healing, but nobody ever talks about this energetic.
It's the etheric body. I don't usually talk about it because people don't know what that is. So I just talk about what it is I see.
Gotcha. Okay. Could you maybe give us an example and feel free if you don't like some of the questions or you're not sure what I'm asking to.
Well, yeah, no, I'll give you, I'm just trying to think of somebody I recently worked with that, so I worked with a gal today, and she had a soul issue of victimization. And so I found that in her sacral chakra, and I also found it in her heart. And it was also up here in her third eye as well. So it was on different levels. So on the one in the sacral chakra, that was where the actual victimization was located. And then in the heart, it was had to do with how she had kind of turned it against herself. You know what I mean? Like she had been in therapy and worked on what this person had done to her. But the part that hadn't been healed was the part that she did to herself, like how she felt responsible for that and how she closed a part of her heart down. Mm-hmm. And then the part about the third eye was where she refused to see the truth about the situation. So it's kind of like she just blocked it out.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so she could go to therapy probably for the rest of her life and never actually get that piece, mm-hmm. because she kind of turned away from it.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
It sure does. As a therapist myself, obviously using science and working with traumas, I definitely know what you're saying when it comes to, there's the physical aspect of the trauma that happens, and it depends what type of trauma, mm-hmm. but the emotional and physical are connected. And the energy of the emotion, if it's not released, mm-hmm. if it's too overburdening for our nervous system to handle at the time that it had happened, it absolutely locks into the brain and the body. And then there is that avoidance. There is also dissociation, right?
Right.
And
call it a split.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. And so when you talk about that third eye and how mm-hmm. there was denial, it's like, yeah, the body and the brain is actually protecting you from feeling that every single day, so you can try to function mm-hmm. Through the day. So it's just incredible, actually, to be deepening it even beyond the level of what a therapist can do with that energy healing and the chakras. That's amazing.
So for this gal, it was presented in, she was starting to have physical problems in her hips. So she'd already done most of the internal work on that part, but she just didn't see what was left, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That I kind of get, so how my work works is I have energy that pulsates through me, and I connect to this person, or, you know, whoever I'm working with, through their heart center. And then the energy kind of just pushes out that way. And
Yeah.
people often say, I don't feel it, but it's a frequency. It's not really like a hammer, you know,
Yeah.
it's just, it's just happening.
Yeah, absolutely. You're reading something that many of us don't have the capability to read. There is
Right.
an awareness of it. And the way I would explain that is because let's say you walk into an elevator and there's a couple there and you know they were just fighting, although they're saying nothing, right? You are
Mhm.
picking up on that vibration and that energy. So we are good at picking some things up, absolutely, but you're consciously doing it. So that's kind of cool to hear how you work.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the example. That was kind of a side question. I was just curious. So thank you for that.
It helps people understand, because it is something
Yes.
that's not, I'm going to say, mainstream.
Not
So
yet. Yeah.
it's, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Not yet.
Not yet,
Mhm.
right? Always holding hope. Absolutely. And you never know what's going to help you. That's the beauty of what I'm doing here. I'm trying
Mhm.
to dabble in and interview a bunch of different people because I want people to understand there are lots of things you could try and do.
Absolutely. And, you know, where one thing might not have been great for you, you know, then, you know,
Mhm.
where hypnosis might be working, you know, and sometimes you hit the wall and it's like,
Yeah,
okay, now I got to try something else.
absolutely. Exactly. 100%. That's how I feel too. Absolutely. So how did you learn to be an intuitive soul healer?
That is such an amazing question. I get that question every day. People are like, How, who,
Yes,
who trained you for this? How did
right.
you learn that? So I would say about 10 years ago, maybe longer, I knew I was intuitive at this point, and I really kind of wanted to understand that more. So I started just giving readings in exchange for feedback. I was just like, so I could, you know, I didn't know. And how would you know unless someone came back and told you that was really good, you know,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
exactly.
And fairly quickly, people came back to me and they would say, well, I don't know about the reading, to be honest, but something happened in that session, something energetic. Could you tell me what that was? And then that set me on another journey, because I didn't know what happened. I had absolutely no idea. And so I spent time, you know, trying to figure that out. And then just, I had an epiphany that, well, if I am intuitive, then how about if I reverse that, you know, reverse engineer it and start identifying what it is that I'm clearing in my, you know, automatically.
Uh-huh.
And that just flipped everything for me. I started having, you know, what I was identifying wasn't trivial things like who your next boyfriend's going to be type of deal, you
Mhm.
know, which
Mhm.
is to me very trivial. It was more like past lives events. I was starting to see trauma. I was starting to see just, you know, like soul purpose, things that I didn't even know about,
Mhm.
you know. So I was like, how could you make this stuff up, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Where is this coming from? How
Yeah,
do I
I
know this?
know. Yeah,
That
and it was
intuition.
not, so it was like early internet era, so I was, you know, able to get some information, but there wasn't a lot of information or people I could turn to. So I just, you know, I would ask for help when I could find somebody that actually knew.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Very cool. A self-made woman, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I mean, it's so cool to actually hear you talk about it because you're kind of like student and teacher at the same time, and that's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, it never occurred to me that way. Yeah. So, and yeah, who do you go to for help? You know, I was like,
Right?
yeah.
Exactly.
My
And you're
people that
pre-internet, right?
Yeah, the people that came to me were always just showing me another part of myself that needed to be healed, you know? So it was kind of like my healing journey.
Yeah.
And then it would always, like, the next group of people that would come, it was always like next level, you know, like,
Ah,
oh, I'd learned something new. I'd learned something new.
yeah. Just keep deepening it for you.
Hmm.
See, there's the teacher and student at the same time. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. So, what's your favorite spiritual gift?
Oh goodness. You know, honestly, I'm gonna have to say it's my intuition, because without my intuition, I would be what I would call an unconscious healer. I would still be just giving people energy, but I wouldn't have the knowledge of really why that person is sick. So I
Mhm.
think it's the intuition is probably the most valuable to
Yeah.
me anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree because you can replicate. You know exactly what you did to get them there. You can replicate that with somebody else because you're consciously doing it.
Right. So I think this was probably something I did earlier in life, but I didn't know I was doing it because,
You were,
like people gravitate to you and they're like, oh, you just have good energy. I like to be around you, that kind of thing.
yeah.
That's probably what that was. That was that healing energy, to make people feel better about themselves.
They were drawn to your energy field.
I think so.
I'm learning. See, I'm learning. They're drawn to your positive energy field. And how could they not? I mean, I certainly have had friends and whatnot over the years, people that I'm just, oh my God, I love being around them. They're so funny, or I love how they feel when I'm with them. And absolutely, that's what that is, right? Except this is more of a healing energy and people just naturally being drawn. That's really cool.
Yeah.
See, you had talents you didn't know at the time, and then it just develops more and more as you're curious and open.
It's the way it was meant to be.
Totally. Yeah. So could you give us some tips maybe on how we can raise that energy, that vibration?
Absolutely. I think it's, for people that don't understand what vibration is, I think of like the piano board, the piano keys, the lower keys are like a lower vibration and the higher keys are, where we want to be higher. So it would be positive thoughts, positive, anything positive. So that'd be turning off the television, stay away from dark energy, and dark energy sometimes is even in music. It needs to be inspirational. It needs to be positive. It needs to be something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's positive. That's a high vibe, high vibration, the higher end of the piano. That's my tip.
Yeah, I love it because you're right. I mean, we've all come across people that have drained us, our energy. That's the low end. Kind of want to avoid that. And you know it because you're kind of after it. You're just, oh God, I'm so depleted. I need a nap. Or boy, I could go and not want to see that person for a little while. Right. So.
Right. Or those are the people that you need to be like really distancing yourself from and, are having very limited time with, because those are the ones that I call them energy vampires. They do deplete you. They take what you have because they don't have enough.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. And then you won't have any either.
Right.
Here you are. Now there's two of you.
Right.
With low vibration. So, but the way to raise it is take care of yourself, go to activities that increase the
tip to take baths, listen to music, go for a walk, just change your exercise. Is like paving the hitting the pavement, like running. Oh my gosh, that is like, you don't even have to like to run. Do you know what I mean? It really invigorates you. So something like that. Things with high frequencies like essential oils, cleaning your house. I know nobody likes to clean their house, but that is a really good way to raise your frequency, because it's just like, oh, it's nice, clean, spit spot.
Is that why I like cleaning? I had no idea actually.
Well, you clean the air when you like declutter.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of like old vibrations.
Huh. Interesting. Never thought of it that way. That's so cool. So there's multiple levels. It's cleaner, it's more organized, and I do feel better. And I'm thinking, man, it's because of this hard work. But yeah, the rearranging of things and shifting and moving energy that's stuck.
It's like making your bed in the morning. You come in your room and your bed's not made. It's like, for me, that's chaos. It has to be made. Things have to have their place. And that's because I'm super sensitive to energy, but it's true. Things have to have order. Otherwise they order you. Right.
That's a good way for all our, married people or with boyfriends, and if those boyfriends are doing that, you can just have them tune into this. We'll whip him back into shape to get that bed tighter. That's right. We'll help you out, lady. So thank you. Those are really great tips. How you can, I think you were mentioning earlier, salt baths. Can you tell us about that? What's really good about that keeps that's the self-care piece?
The self-care piece, that is just, it is really a good way to detoxify yourself by just getting into some water. And with that Epsom salts, maybe little essential oils, it's a good way to take away the debris from the day. I almost do that every night. I take a bath, literally. And if I don't get that, it's, it's sad.
You're like, oh, I don't feel the same.
Yeah, it's just, like, just think of it as some people prefer the shower. It's the same principle. You're getting rid of the debris of the day,
Mhm.
the extra toxins that are around you, just
Absolutely.
let it float away.
Yeah. Well, we all know water is healing, and whether we drink it or bathe in it, it
Hmm.
is cleansing, isn't it? And very relaxing. I don't know if you've heard of those. What are they called? Sensory deprivation tanks.
I have heard of, I've never done it.
I haven't either. Okay, we're gonna make a pact. We're doing this. We're gonna try it.
We're doing it
Oh,
together.
this is over. Okay. You're either traveling to Canada, I'm coming to the States, but we're doing it together.
I'd love to. All right.
Love it. That sounds awesome. It was such a pleasure, Amy. Thank you so much for talking to us. One thing I do want to mention to everybody, we do have that book, and Amy has graciously offered the book for free for anyone who emails her. She will send that book to them. So we will put that information is already on the poster, and we'll put it up in the post. If there's any questions you can ask at the post, Amy will answer them. She can direct you to places you can access her. She is graciously given the book for free and also her time. So thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. It has been a
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
absolutely.